Hey all, here OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the MIFO O5. These are true wireless earbuds using Bluetooth 5.0, and they're from a company that's relatively new based out of Hong Kong. The O5 sells for about 70 bucks, sometimes goes on sale for around $50, so not quite as cheap as, say, a Redmi AirDots or some of the really budget options we've checked out, but the construction quality here and the sound quality are also promising something that's closer to hi-fi and a slight step up as well, but at the same time it definitely is more affordable than, say, the Apple AirPods. The packaging here is very impressive. The battery life claims to last up to 100 hours with the battery case, which is one of the longest metrics I've seen. The earbuds themselves can last for around 7 hours on a single charge, and the case provides over 15 charges. The earbuds themselves are rated to be IP67, and they also have dynamic drivers built on in. Presentation is definitely luxurious, and for the money, I would say it definitely seems like something much more expensive than only $70. The charging case on first impressions is extremely hefty. I would say that it's almost 3 times the weight of the Apple AirPods. It's enclosed in a full aluminum cold shell that just feels incredibly weighty in the hand. The earbuds themselves are individually packaged. We can pop them into the battery case in a moment, and accessories include a quick user manual that documents the various drivers that they're using, a flat ribbon wire for charging using micro USB that is also packaged very well, neon green, very vibrant, and lots of spare silicone tips from really small to large to get a custom fit. It's really clear that they've spent a lot of time on the packaging and presentation. Definitely feels like a luxury or a premium product. A closer look at the design, the battery case does not support wireless charging, so that's one thing to keep in mind that we've seen from some of the recent pairs, and also, again, micro USB as opposed to the newer USB Type-C. But otherwise, again, it is a very premium looking package and design. We have just the O5 logo on the back. The capacity of the pack inside the case is technically 2,600 milliamp hours. Now you can flip open the lid, it's held together using magnets, closes with a satisfying click, and we have a very interesting looking hinge that's actually kind of flexible. The earbuds themselves, however, are made out of plastic, even though it looks like metal, just to make them a bit more lightweight. The AirDots actually aren't that much smaller in terms of the battery case dimensions, even though the battery life is way shorter. It still is very much easy to slide into a pocket, especially against other large battery cases like ones from Soundpeats that we've reviewed before that also gets around 100 hours, but the Soundpeats, as you can see here, are just significantly larger compared to the MIFO. Now, as aforementioned, these earbuds do have very small controls integrated directly onto them for adjusting things like volume up and down, in addition to skip track commands, playing, pausing your music, and it's one of the first I've ever seen. Personally, I do prefer touch-sensitive controls because I think they're a bit more ergonomic than something as small as earbuds that you can simply tap on or hold for adjusting the volume, but this does give you a tactile sensation. Otherwise, we have a very small microphone on the tip here, which basically acts for answering phone calls. I really love, again, the design here just because it's so distinctive and different from any other pair that I've seen. It's definitely not just a replica or a clone of the AirPods. Moving into sound quality and performance, all I can say is it's very impressive. It packs surprising bass for small earbuds. If you're playing back a EDM track, you get very punchy, especially on the drum beats, very enjoyable. The mids and highs are also very clean. There's almost no latency, so you can play and pause a track really quickly on your phone, and the audio and if you're watching a video are pretty much perfectly synced up. There's also no distortion or noise, so if you listen really closely, there's no hissing in the background. Everything is quiet, almost completely silent. Overall, they also have a slightly neutral sound signature. In fact, I would say a bit more so than the other pairs we've checked out from companies like Soundpeats or QCY, which are a bit more of a V-shape. A V-shaped sound curve means that the bass is even more emphasized in lieu of mids and trebles, versus these, where you do get a pretty natural sound, very similar to maybe an acoustic recording, really the way that the artist intended the music to sound like. As a result, again, bass is good, but it's not quite as dramatic as on some of those other pairs I mentioned. Really, it just gives you a very natural sounding experience, which if you are an audiophile, I suppose it gets quite close to being hi-fi grade. Now, the only slight quirk is they don't have quick charging per se, so unlike some of the more expensive competitors, which can, for instance, charge it to 2 hours hours by 5 minutes or 10 minutes, on these it will still take about an hour and a half to fully complete its charge. I have to say, for about 50 to 70 bucks, they are definitely one of the strongest true wireless earbuds I've reviewed in recent memory when it comes to just having a super original design. And as everyday commuter headphones, I think they're definitely a step up in terms of audio quality compared to even much more expensive brands on the market. So I think that MIFO have definitely gotten a very impressive pair here, despite the fact that it's missing some of the other maybe fancier touches like wireless charging for the battery case. It also doesn't have additional, for example, active noise canceling like some of Sony's pairs. But all in all, in terms of the battery life, in terms of the construction quality, the overall design and styling, I do think that, again, MIFO here have done a tremendously good job. You can learn more details if interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the MIFO O5.